Hello, empaths. Nice to be with you again energetically. My name is Dr. Eileen, and I am an empath and an intuitive spiritual therapist. And it's my mission to bring encouragement tips to the empath collective and others that may consider themselves to be energy sensitive beings. So these are your empath tips, encouragement tips designed to help you navigate the empath journey smoother, better with maybe a little bit more clarity about how to be an empath in the world that we're living in, and refine your gifts and finesse your energy and work with all that you are in a divine and very pristine way. These are your tips for Sunday, December 12th through Saturday, December 18th. I sure hope everybody's doing great. So I actually took notes because there's several things I want to talk about. I'm going to give 5 tips. The first tip is love yourself first. I've been saying this in pretty much every platform that I speak on, and also in my own sessions. Please love yourself first. This is so very important. It's also difficult for empaths to embrace. It's a concept that seems maybe a little bit self-absorbed and selfish, but in loving yourself first, meaning that you honor your truth, you remain authentic, you practice good self-care, this allows you to show up in the ways that are really pure and aligned with your, whatever your service work is, your path work. This allows you to be present with others. If you're completely drained because you're not loving yourself first, then you'll be going outside of yourself to look for validation and inspiration and encouragement. And while there's nothing wrong with getting validation from others and love and support, that's wonderful. But as an empath, you want to learn to go within first and connect with the divine, your higher self, God, the divine creation, your ancestors, whoever it is that you connect with, angels, and, let them speak to you and find your, let's say your orders from base within first. Rather than without. And so when you approach your service work from this grounded place of loving yourself, honoring yourself, trusting your gut, feeling aligned with your truth, your work becomes so beautiful and so pure because you're not looking for that outside validation. So self-care, rest time, good nutrition, physical fitness, I can't emphasize that enough, meditation, prayer, fasting sometimes, hydration with lots of water, and natural settings, being in natural settings. All of these types of things are loving yourself first, honoring your vessel. And the reason I talk about the physical fitness, we're all on our own physical fitness journey, and whatever that means to you, whatever that looks like for you is totally fine. I have friends that hike all the time. I have yoga friends who are yoga instructors and teachers, pole dancer friends, and also surfer friends. I know lots of dancers. So however you choose to get your physical fitness on, a lot of people just love the gym. Some people work out at home, Pilates, whatever you do is totally fine, but keep your body moving, stay healthy, stay strong, build muscle mass. Why? Because you want to be aligned mind, body, spirit, energy. So you can be very strong emotionally, mentally. You may be a really good person, but if the physical body is not healthy, or if you're not physically, it's interesting how the brain works. When you're physically strong, like if you build physical muscle, your brain always is going to translate that as you're strong in other areas of your life. If you have muscle in one area, you're going to have muscle in another. If you've got strength in one area, you're going to have strength in another. So when you are working on your physical fitness and you're choosing to stay hydrated and eat proper nutrition, your brain conceptualizes your whole life force as being healthy, strong, and nourished. So this is why We want to take care of ourselves, mind, body, spirit. It's not a competition with anybody else. We don't have to look like anybody else. We don't have to work out like anybody else, but we do want to make sure that we're aligned in all of those important areas, because that is loving yourself first. So that's tip number one. Tip number two, stay grounded. So you really want to, or I encourage you to involve yourself in earth practices. Be in natural settings as often as possible versus artificial settings. Artificial settings are readily available, sometimes more available than natural settings. Consider bare feet in the soil, the sands, the grass, the ocean. Time in nature. Be near trees. Listen to natural sounds. Listen to the wind. Listen to the birds and the insects. Listen to the critters that, crawl, in the grass or around trees when you're in natural settings. Listen to the ocean waves. Listen to the trees and the leaves on the trees as they, move with the wind or the breeze, as they sway with the breeze. And notice your heartbeat when you're in natural settings as opposed to artificial settings. So return to natural and nature as often as possible. And when you're there, if you can, honor the land. You can meditate outside. You can bury your crystals outside in the ground. This helps your crystals to recharge. But it's also when your crystals have, really, maybe they've kind of expired, they've been doing a lot of work and they become a little bit more dull. You can offer your crystals to the land and just bury them and allow them to stay there permanently. Planting a garden, fertilizing the ground, and when I was growing up, we had fruit trees and we had vegetables and beautiful plants and beautiful flowers. And we did a lot of juicing, fresh juicing with fruits and vegetables. And we would save the rind and the seeds and all of the stuff that, you basically compile after you do fresh squeezed juices. And we would just put them in a bag. And if we didn't need it right away, we'd freeze it. Otherwise, we would use it fresh. So either fresh or frozen. We would fertilize our soil with, I guess that was our compost. And we had the sweetest fruits. Our fruits were amazing. Everything in our garden was really beautiful. And I think the soil just absolutely loved being fertilized that way. So these types of things help you stay grounded when you work with the land, when you work with plants, when you work with trees, when you're barefoot in the grass, in the soil, and just being in natural settings. You begin to realign with the natural electromagnetic frequencies of our planet, which is very healing and very balancing for you as an empath. It helps you stay anchored. These natural settings actually help the entire human collective stay anchored, but especially energy sensitive people connecting with the planet, connecting with the earth in its raw state is really grounding for us. It helps us to navigate all of the emotional and energetic intensity that can swirl around us at times. So love yourself first. Number two, stay grounded. Number three, we've all heard that term, kill them with kindness. And I don't like that, because of kill, but I understand the concept. And so what I would say is shine the vibe bright. What is the vibe? Well, it's your energy. So learn to be in your energy, no matter what's going on around you in the world. If people are being negative or, they're in fear or they've lost their power, they've given their power away, drama-based, structures, whatever the situation is, learn to bring your own power into the situation. Okay. And so remembering that your intentions with your pure heart structure activates the electromagnetic, I can never say that word, the electromagnetism. Woo! Say that 10 times fast. No, just kidding. The electromagnetism within your own energy field. Your pure intentions magnify that and activate that. So your electromagnetic frequency, your vibe, your energy has the ability to heal situations and has the ability to dismantle negative energy. So when we say kill them with kindness, I understand what that means. They're saying like, be nice, turn the other cheek. Don't let anybody's negativity kill your vibe, because if you hate haters, then the haters win. So love everybody, love and light, and I love that. But I want to look at it from a deeper perspective. When you stay in your own energy, stay in your own energy. And for you to own the power of your own energy, you've got to be loving yourself first, and you must be staying grounded. For you to even be able to be confident enough to be in your own energy, to recognize your own energy has its own unique light structure and energy signature. And you, wherever you are in the world, in your corner of the world, you are able to help heal that environment or those people or those animals or those plants. That's why you're there. So your unique energy signature is super powerful. And when you protect it and you cultivate it and you hone it with your pure heart structure and your pure intentions, then you're shining the vibe bright. And that is, I guess, our empathic version of killing them with kindness. So when you're connecting with those positive electromagnetic frequencies of the planet and the benevolence of the universe, you are emanating a very pure, very solid high vibe. And this is your magic. And another way of saying that, for those of you that think the word magic is too whimsical or woo-woo, this is your anointing. This is your life force. This is your vibe. This is your energy. Learn to be in your own energy and learn to bring your energy into any and every situation that may need your unique hue. And just know that it's palpable. Animals feel it. People feel it. The environment will begin to sense your energy. So be in it and shine it. Shine it super bright. So other energy sensitives will feel your energy, and even your haters will feel your energy as well. And your beautiful, unique energy structure may begin to permeate the hearts of people with power over structures or negative structures. So never give up hope. Never feel like your pure heart intentions are in vain. When you stay in your energy, you're emanating it, and you are expressing light in a different way. You're giving people options by just being light. And so allow that beautiful, intention of who you are to emanate from your structure, knowing that it is really impacting and it is taking an effect. You won't always see it right in real time, but just know that you're planting seeds by being in your own energy and allowing it to be expressed in the beautiful way that you do. And just know that you are dissolving cords and detoxing situations, that are nefarious or contaminated with negative energy. But in order for you to do that, you've got to know how to transmute energy. You've got to know how to dissolve cords. You've got to know how to cut what no longer serves and remove yourself. And again, that goes back to loving yourself first. You remove yourself from situations that are not aligned and are not serving your highest good and are not helping you to finesse your energy and cultivate your energy, because you know who you are. And you're loving yourself first, and you remove yourself from those situations and you cut those cords and you dissolve those energies that are not aligned. Number 4, protect your life force. So high vibe music, movies, high vibe people, high vibe foods and activities, teams. And when I say teams, I'm talking about sports or mastermind groups or meditation groups, book clubs, dance groups, mommy and me's, or other types of meetup groups. When you're connecting with others, you want to maintain a high vibe, which means you want to, if possible, participate with like-minded high vibe people. Now, obviously, as empaths, we're going to interact with, it's a mixed bag of energy, right? The human collective. So there's going to be lots of different types of people that we interact with. And our service work will often be to those who maybe have a lower vibration initially. They need our light, and that's why we are working with them. But in terms of your own personal circle and where you refresh your energy and revigorate your own soul, try to align with and associate with like-minded people so that you can protect your life force. If there are not groups in existence that match your energy, start your own groups. Create one. I have done this many times in my life. So when I was much younger, like way, way younger, like still living at home, I used to have these groups that I would, bring together. They were all women, girls, young women, and I called them affirmation parties, and they were super fun. And why did I start them? Because I'm a social person, and I wanted I wanted to, some girlfriends that I like to be around, and so I invited them over. And it started with a small group. I think there were maybe like 6 or 7 of us, and I did these parties when I was pretty young, and I kept doing them, throughout the years as I got older. And I would do these really cool women's groups and, tea socials and movie nights and small women's gatherings. And eventually, what started off as just little small groups of friends coming together, some of these parties grew into really large formal events with like formal invitations and performances. So start your own tribe, you know what I mean? And then you cultivate the vibe that you want. If it doesn't already exist, you create it. That's finessing the energy, right? That's bringing your energy. It's owning your energy, being in your own power. And if the tools that you need are not available, well, between you and the divine, you can co-create something magical, and you create it. You start that club, you start that team, you create that experience, that workshop, that performance, that event that inspires you first, and then share that with others. All right. And then number 5, sharpen the lens. So we've talked about loving yourself first, staying grounded, shining the vibe bright, or kill them with kindness, protecting your life force, and now sharpening the lens. So what do I mean by that? You want to learn to heighten your awareness of sight. So this is a very important tip for empaths. We are very energy sensitive, and until we learn to ground ourselves and anchor ourselves and be okay by ourselves with all that we are, unapologetically, not needing validation, until we get to that point, it's very common for empaths to be susceptible to the opinions of others and even maybe worried about what others will think. We don't want to disappoint people. Our nature is to serve and help, and we want to be of assistance if we can. It's very disheartening to us when we've been judged or criticized for being either fake or false or not doing a good job. We tend to have strong work ethics. We want to serve. We're here to serve. We're pretty clear on why our soul is here. So we don't like to be recognized as something less than what we choose to be. That's beautiful, right? That we are that is our heart structure. But here's where it becomes problematic. There are a lot of manipulative people on the planet. Remember, human collective, it's a mixed bag of energy. So when you, as an empath, a raw, vulnerable empath, meet, let's say, a narcissistic person or someone who's really good at manipulation and control, and trust me, the manipulators of the world, the users, the takers, they're way better than what they do than what you do until you learn, right? At first, you're just like sort of this la 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 naive kind of empath, wanting to serve, heart on my sleeve, and that works against us until we learn all the the tips and the tricks of the trade. I'm laughing because I don't know, it's not really funny when you're going through it, but once you come through all these lessons, then not that I've come through all of them, and trust me, I have a lot of lessons. I'm going through lessons right now. I just don't show it, but I'm learning a lot of lessons. But the ones I've already come through, man, they were really hard, some of them. And yet I can look back now and laugh because it was such a powerful journey. And I wouldn't be the human that I am now without some of those lessons, some hard stuff. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So there are manipulative people on the planet. We know that. But I want to really, really take a few moments to talk about a particular energy that you want to watch out for as an empath. This is so very important, okay? This is where you begin to mature as an empath and go from being more naive. We do want to continue to conceptualize the world through love and light and bring beauty, right? Bring beauty and light and elegance and eloquence and, mystery, and make things pristine and bring reverence and elegance to every beautiful situation. That's what we're here to do. We're here to remind the planet that the world doesn't have to be dark and ugly and toxic. It can be lovely. It can be beautiful. It can be pristine. We are the ones that bring the diamond light. We're the ones that bring the shimmery and the pristine and the crystal quartz energy. We bring that. However, we have to be wise and we have to be super sharp, very aware of the manipulative tactics of some nefarious others. So I want to point out something that you're already aware of, but I want to just shine a light on it. There are people that have agendas and they want to get us to do their bidding, and they want to get us to basically be robots and do what they want. So I'll give you an example. On social media, a lot of the time, people will post something, whatever it is. It could be, it could be on mental health, or it could be on physical health. It could be any issue, okay? And it's an issue that's dear to their heart. So not only do they comment on the fact that this issue is dear to their heart, but then they basically tell you that in their post that they're putting a test out there to see who's going to actually read it. Okay, so that should be red flag number one. They're testing you. So they're already in judgment, low vibration. They're already judging to see who's going to really read the post, or are you just liking the picture? And then as you continue to read, they'll say something like, this, that, and the other is important to me. And I'm betting most of my family and friends won't even read this, and they won't repost it to their story, and they won't this and that. So more judgment. And, now they're telling you that they want you to post this on the story if you have the courage, so now they're challenging your level of integrity and your credibility. And they're basically saying, you're not really a real friend, and you're not really a real loving family member if you don't do what I want you to do. It's manipulation 101. And what I want to really highlight for all of you right now is that people who do this are appealing to your insecurity, and they identify an area where you could experience maybe loss of respect, loss of friends, status, money, love, youth, beauty. They identify an area that might be an area of weakness for you, or an area where you might be sensitive. And then they reinforce the idea with pressure. Okay. And if you don't comply, then, you're judged as not keeping up. You're not good enough. I learned this information when I took advertising and marketing courses in my undergrad communications course. I was a radio, TV, film major, and we take speech communication, and we do take some marketing and advertising courses along with radio, TV, film. And we learned that the advertising agency capitalizes on fear. They use fear tactics. They appeal to your sense of loss and not being enough to manipulate you into buying things. And so a lot of people, whether they're aware of these tactics or not, they are using these types of tactics. So they put something out there that's important to them. They find an insecurity in you. They reinforce their idea with pressure. They compel you to comply. There's a call to action. Put this on your story. Repost this if you're my real friend, if you're a family member that loves me. So you're being commanded now to go out and buy a product or post something on, your social media page. It wasn't even necessarily your agenda, but because you love this person and you don't want them to think negatively about you, or judge you, or think that the issue that they're talking about, like maybe cancer or whatever, isn't important to you, then if you're not careful, you'll just go ahead and comply like a robot and post it to your page. And now all is good in the world and they're happy with me. And I'm not one of those people that they think doesn't care about them. Woo! Screech! Empaths. No. We are not here for that. if it's really a cause that is it's your baby, it's your darling, and you really want to post that, go for it. But don't do it because somebody told you to. This is really important. This is classic manipulation. And if you're not careful, empath, remember, you're here to hold the light and to be in a pure heart structure, which means you go within, you're self-referent, not object referent. So you go within, you get your orders from base. What's base? The divine, right? Your higher self, God, creation. If you are manipulated by other people's agendas, then your light gets watered down and you can't be as effective when it's time for you to do your service work because you're not anchored and grounded in who you are. Remember, we're talking about finessing the energy and holding your own space, holding your own energetic space. Be in your power. Don't absorb the energy of others. And so this is important for everybody. None of us need to be manipulated. We're all sovereign, and we get to make decisions based on what aligns with our value system and our truth. But it's especially important for energy sensitive people in the empath collective to recognize that if you're not careful, you will be manipulated. And in that space, you'll be in cognitive dissonance. You will not feel good about being manipulated by others, and you won't show up as authentically and as strongly as you could. This, for me as a mental health professional, is a really important point to slam home to empaths who are light workers, way showers, star seeds. In mental health, like the work that I do is I help people deactivate negative mental programs, negative thought programs, and I help them activate positive thought programs. And I do that because it works. I understand the brain, and it works. But if I have negative agendas and I want to be manipulative, I could flip it and I could help people upload negative programs. So if I was like a narcissistic, evil, maniacal, therapist with just, I want to rule the world, crazy stuff or whatever, then I might be planting the wrong seeds. And this is very important. You want to, as empaths, you want to understand that there are people planting the wrong seeds intentionally. There are people, whether it's that they took those advertising and marketing courses that I took and they want to rule the world by, making lots of money, getting people to buy their product, even if they don't need the product, or whether it's subconsciously done. And, a lot of the time when people want to force you to post something on your social media page, or force you to do something, or force you to come to their event, or force you to review their product, or force you to like their page, or whatever it is they're trying to get you to do, we're not only dealing with people that are manipulative, but sometimes we're dealing with people that are extremely broken and haven't done their work. And remember my first step, love yourself first. A lot of the time, manipulative people don't know how to love themselves. They don't have the courage to truly love themselves and honor who they are and anchor themselves and, get in that gym and get physically fit and be your own personal best. A lot of times, manipulative people, they would rather take the easy route and just get somebody to do things for them. You work for me. I'm going to tell you to jump, and then I'm going to see how high you jump because it's entertaining. It's fun. And I really am a pretty miserable person. So I'm just going to make you do all these things, do my bidding, and maybe that'll give me a little bit of joy. Huh, yuck. So we empaths want to stay far away from that, negative energy. We want to stay super strong, knowing that the power of suggestion is big, and your energy signature, which is coming from a pure heart structure and the purity of intent, and you bring in all those beautiful activations we've been talking about, gratitude and passion and happiness, right? Bliss, optimism, excitement. Bring those energies in with your pure heart structure and be aware that there are people that will try to manipulate. So there's manipulation, and then there's the power of influence. The power of influence can be offered from a very pure heart structure, and we empaths do have the power of influence. And the higher our vibe is, the more we're finessing our energy, the more we're comfortable owning our energy and being in our own energy and our own power, the higher probability we have to inspire and influence others. When that's done from a pure heart structure with the purity of intent, it's beautiful. So I'm going to end there, sharpen the lens so you know when you're being manipulated, and don't fall for that. Be impeccable with your discipline and your focus. Finesse your energy in such a way that it always serves the highest good of all. And knowing that in order to serve the highest good of all, you do to some degree have to love yourself first. Not even to some degree, 100%. You've got to love yourself first so that you can be in a pure, you want to be that pure channel, getting your commands from base so that you can serve the highest good of all. I hope that these tips are helpful to you. They are timeless and they'll reach you at the time that your beautiful soul needs to integrate them. Much love to all of you. Have a very beautiful week, and I'll see you next time.